national leader of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Bola Tinubu, has reacted to recent events at the Edo State House of Assembly, describing Governor Godwin Obaseki's actions as the gravest possible assault on constitutional democracy and the rule of law and escalation of violence and tension in the state he purports to govern. Tinubu said this in a statement he personally signed and made available to Daily Post on Friday. The former Lagos State governor berated Obaseki, accusing him of making a mockery of Nigeria's constitution by blocking the timely inauguration of two-thirds of the elected members of the Edo State House of Assembly, and now resorting to the strong-arm tactics of dictators. According to Tinubu, Obaseki had sponsored hoodlums to deface, indeed destroy parts of the House of Assembly building in Benin while feigning the building is undergoing renovation. Then he imports sand and gravel to prevent access to the assembly complex, Tinubu said. He noted that by this singular act, Obaseki spent state funds to thwart the very apparatus of the state government he was sworn to uphold. Tinubu said that the governor squandered public funds to defeat the very will of the public. This is tragic beyond words. The statement added, as a pretext for his refusal to allow the Edo House of Assembly to function, Governor Obaseki's actions are perverse. This is a cowardly act and a move to thwart representative democracy in Edo. No renovation has been planned for the State House building. No appropriation was made in the state budget. The only reason why renovation could be deemed necessary is the destruction wrought by his own goons. Governor Obaseki's governance of Edo State records the worst excesses of our military past and represents a direct threat to the democratic order. By his refusal to permit duly elected members of the Edo State House of Assembly to perform their constitutional duties, Governor Obaseki betrayed consent for the people of his state and, unfortunately, his ignorance of Nigeria's constitutional order. As a governor, he ought to know better than to obstruct the functioning of his own legislature, but perhaps is indeed of a quick lesson. The legislative function is perhaps the most foundational obligation of any government. In the UK, the parliament was famously said to be that supreme and absolute power which gives life and motion to the English government. In most democratic systems, the legislature is the arm of government containing within itself the people's representatives in government. As such, the legislative arm is critical. It is an important symbol of democratic governance. The voice, will, and desires of the people are reposed in their elected representatives sent to the legislature to express and distill their amorphous will into the laws and codes by which the society has agreed to live. In the context of a constitutional democracy such as ours, the legislature's authority stems in effect from the recognition that it is the authentic mouthpiece of the people, entrusted with the responsibility and representing their collective will and the power to interpret and mold it into the laws of the land. It is in short not to be toyed with as a plaything of an errant and ill-disciplined governor. Undermine the legislature and you imperil democracy and allow governance to descend into anarchy. Indeed, it is no coincidence that of the three arms of government, the powers of the legislature are enumerated first in our constitution. The legislature is the authority imbued with the power to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the federation and states. Indeed, the constitution makes clear that a governor's role primarily extends to the maintenance and implementation of the laws set down for him by his state legislature. In placing himself above the legislature, deciding what gets in and who is shut out, Governor Obaseki not only places himself above the nation's constitutional order. He places himself above the people of Edo State, whose representative is so brazenly trampled upon. One can only wonder, given the desperation with which he has acted and his belligerent refusal to honor the free choice of the people of his own state, what mortal offense the majority members he has shut out have committed to warrant such treatment. Although Governor Obaseki's conduct in the past year is undoubtedly impeachable, these legislatures have made no threat to impeach the governor. Their only desire is to peacefully perform the duties asked of them by the people. By all appearances, the governor is punishing this legislature for their loyalty to a party that is no longer his own. If every governor behaves as he, obstructing the performance of any legislator who does not pledge to him their undying fealty, the entire edifice of democratic governance in Nigeria would grind into a complete halt. In his campaign for re-election, Governor Obaseki promises to represent and defend the interests of all the people of his state, yet so blinded is he by his personal ambition. So he sees no irony in the fact that his actions have denied the two-thirds of the people of his state their right to representation in the state only legislative chamber. Governor Obaseki must think the people of his state to be as foolhardy and ignorant as he, for even as he cuts their votes, he continues to make a mockery of the institution of democracy in his own house of assembly. If Governor Obaseki believes the people are not aware of this inherent irony, he will undoubtedly learn the most of his grave miscalculation in the fullness of time. The rule of law and preservation of democracy is too important to sacrifice at the altar of any one man's ambition. Governor Obaseki's woeful leadership of Edo State will hopefully be brought to an end soon by the very people whose rights he has so carelessly trampled upon. One can only hope that the damage he is doing to the most important of the state democratic institution can just as easily be repaired. So it is Tinubu that is saying all of these things. You can imagine, wonder shall never end. All of a sudden, because of this, we don't know whether it's a school movement, they just form this new whatever, the National Assembly, the State Assembly, Edo Assembly. Now everybody is bringing their voice. See this Tinubu that is talking. See the way Buhari has dealt with all of you. You cannot talk. The only thing he will be speaking in parable, but now he's directing the whole thing to Obaseki. They are of the same. See the man that is talking. Honestly, I can't even believe that it is Tinubu that is saying all of this. Is all of a sudden they're woken from their slumber. You can imagine what Tinubu is saying. Tinubu talking about somebody's desperate ambition, doing things illegally. You can imagine. It's unfortunate. Let's hear what people are saying. I don't even want to say anything. More than that, it's unfortunate, really. Bola Tinubu, you are not ashamed. What you did to Ambode is what you want to Shomole to do to Obaseki. God will judge you. If it's this type of governance you will exhibit, God will not allow you to be president of Nigeria. God will disgrace you and Oshomole. The biggest only is Tinubu bullion van. See people, somebody that is even talking. It is regrettable that a senior citizen like this man can talk like this. Which way Nigeria? Okay, don't know be Lagos, Obaseki no be Ambode. You can twist. Nothing for Tinubu. God bless Tinubu because God passed Tinubu because God is not like wicked people like Tinubu. Tinubu has not challenged Buhari on his handling of democracy. Of course, see the way Buhari is doing everything. But if you ask Tinubu now, he will be twisting everything. He will tactically try to avoid all of that. Even with the way it's being dealt with the way things are going on in this country, with the way S-men are killing people, with the way Boko Haram, doing all manner of things. Kaduna, this thing, they cannot speak. All of them cannot speak. But when it comes to election, that is when they can speak. You can imagine, see the hypocrisy. That is why I'm just even surprised that this man can even be saying this, even with what he's been alleged to have been doing in Lagos, and he's talking about somebody being desperate. There is nothing we are not going to be seeing in this country. Honestly, Tinubu thinks that with Oshomole and APC in Edo State, he will become the next president. Tinubu, why can't you respect yourself? There should be a limit to professional thuggery when one is getting old. So this use and dump old man still they talk. You see, Governor Obaseki should not allow himself to be cowed by any ex-governor, no matter how highly placed in any political party. We are first all Nigerians before becoming governor or party leaders. It's most unfortunate that even a criminal like Ahmed Tinubu is talking law and duties and responsibilities and functions and constitution and rights. Hey, now wow, wonder shall never end. So guys, let us hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's see what you think.